On April 20, 2010, an explosion of the BP drilling rig occurred. It became known as the worst oil spill in U.S. history.
Around 4.9 million barrels of oil was leaked into the Gulf of Mexico. 16,000 miles of coastline were affected, including Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. On that day, thousands of animals were injured and even killed because of the oil. Some animals that were reported dead were even on the endangered species list.
During the 6 months after the explosion, more than 7,000 birds were collected in the spill area. Nearly 3,000 of them showed visible signs of oil on them. When birds are covered in oil, they have trouble flying, making it nearly impossible to get away from predators.
The 5 species of sea turtles that exist in the Gulf were put greatly at risk, which threatened every stage of their life cycle. During the 6 months after the spill, over 1,000 turtles were collected in the spill area, and 450 of those showed clear signs of visible oil.
Since the spill, there has been a record-shattering 26 consecutive months of above-average dolphin strandings. Oil affects fish and aquatic invertebrates through surface exposure, ingestion, absorption, and changes their ecosystem. The oil coincides with egg production. Some fish eat oil droplets, causing them to be mutated.
Kirk Mix, a 52-year-old, is a former BP drilling engineer. He was convicted the week after the spill of deleting text from his phone to obstruct a federal investigation. Mix was found guilty on 1 charge and acquitted of a 2nd charge. Prosecutors argue that Mix was trying to destroy evidence when he deleted hundreds of texts and 2 voicemails from a supervisor and contractor. After a period of 9 hours, over 3 days, the federal jury reached a verdict. The count of obstruction of justice carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a fine of $250,000.
Gordon Jones also worked for the BP rig that exploded. He was one of the 11 men who died. Jones worked as a mud engineer and was planning on moving up to be in a sales position for the company. Gordon died 3 weeks before his son Maxwell was born. Jones had a great sense of humor and was always ready to make someone laugh. His 2 young boys and loving wife, Michelle, miss him more than anything.
30% of the blame for the explosion went to the Swiss-based drilling rig owner, Transocean Ltd. 3% of the blame went to the Houston-based cement contractor, Halliburton Energy Service.
Over 30,000 workers and volunteers helped to clean up the oil day after day. There are many different cleanup tactics, including booms, barriers, dispersants, skimmers, and sorbent materials. As for the animals, there were rescue teams, rehabilitate, release, boat rescues, and plane rescues. Planes and helicopters were used to spread about 1.4 million gallons of chemical dispersant into the Gulf of Mexico.
Since oil and water don't mix, the oil tends to float on the top of the water and form slicks. Cleanup workers surround the slicks with floating booms to stop it from spreading. Dozens of organizations came together to help rescue and save the animals until they were clean and healthy enough to be released back into their environment.